Wade makes her runway debut. The 15-year-old daughter of Dwyane Wade and stepmom Gabrielle Union struts down the catwalk in Miu Miu's show at Paris Fashion Week. Zaya rocks an olive green dress and matching jacket, along with a brown handbag, as she confidently walks in front of the audience. Dwyane and Gabrielle are also on hand, sporting all-black outfits to support their budding fashion model in her big moment.
The Black bourgeoisie are pushing this LGBTQ agenda in the Black community. This is something I've been thinking about for a while. As you saw, Dwyane Wade's biological son is now parading down the runway as a girl. And you know that Dwyane Wade and his wife were given an Image Award at NAACP Image Awards for courage, I guess, for supporting their biological son becoming a girl. And this is something I've been thinking about for a long time. In the Black community, there is a division between those who believe in biblical values, traditional values, and those who want to push this progressive, Marxist, liberal, and I call it demonic agenda. And the people that are pushing this are your Black elites.
Yes, I actually do want to talk to you about, I wanted to ask you one question about your book, which by the way, I have read and I love it. Divine. And yes, so I wanted to ask you, what advice do you have for teens who want to be themselves and thrive like you have and currently are?
Well, like you have and currently are, you know? I mean, I am just so proud of you, being just an amazing role model and embracing your truth, right? You're already doing this, so maybe this is for some other young people that are listening.
And you saw that video, right, of Michelle Obama interviewing Dwyane Wade's child. This all started with Barack Obama. See, too many Black people worship Barack Obama. So when he came out in support of this, in lieu of supporting things that were important to elevating the Black community, a lot of Black people were taken aback at first. But now those seeds have become fruit. And so we've seen the elevation of LGBTQ, of Black trans, over traditional values in the Black community. If you don't believe me, listen to Dr. Umar Johnson.
And that people should boycott the Roots Music Festival because it has Dave Chappelle and a couple of other people on there that had supposedly had said some unkind words about gays. As a Black person, I said, look, it's really interesting that you find it appropriate to tell people to boycott Black performers because they said something maybe anti-gay, but I don't see you saying boycott people that are being anti-Black.
Absolutely. And that right there is a trend, Baba David, that was given birth to by President Barack Hussein Obama. It was Barack Obama who deliberately took the spotlight off of Black people issues and anti-Black hate and put it on LGBTQ issues and LGBT hate. He did that. And, when Black people, I see a lot of us now waking up and recognizing that supporting all of these other so-called marginal groups and organizations, a lot of us are starting to wake up and realize this is just a trap. It's a distraction to get Black people to stop worrying about what matters most to Black people. And because we are so multicultural, which grows out of our collective self-hatred, Black people are always ever ready and willing to lend a hand to somebody else's cause. But none of these other groups ever lend a hand to our cause. Most LGBTQs are anti-Black. They are just as racist as any other white person.
I said that.
I'm telling you, the Black homosexuals know that they are an afterthought in the LGBT movement's agenda. In fact, Black homosexuals and lesbians are to the LGBTQ movement what Black people are to the Democratic Party. It is the same relationship. You are an afterthought. We don't care about you, okay? And the only time we call on you is when we need to use you for something. That's the only reason that they call on them. And I also believe that it is an absolute contradiction to call LGBTQs a minority group. I still need somebody to help me understand how can being white and gay or white and trans make you a minority.
Now, I don't always agree with Dr. Umar Johnson because he focuses on things that are strictly pro-black all the time. And for me, as a biblical conservative, I'm focused on the whole person. I'm not focused on race. I'm focused on elevating everyone. But in particular, I speak to black people because we're the most conservative people there is. But there is an agenda to disrupt that, to unmoor us from our biblical values. So there is this wedge taking place. There's this separation. And so we have to decide, whose side are we going to be on? Are we going to be on God's side or on the side of the black elite who wants to push this stuff down our throat at the expense of things that truly elevate the black community? Why are we spending time talking about people allowing their children to transition instead of talking about things that elevate the black community, about opportunities, about providing true economic resources, true educational resources? Our children are failing in these schools, but yet the black elite want to focus on these social issues like whether or not they're taking the lives of children or whether or not we want to support young children who have no idea what they believe at this point. Young children, 12, 13-year-old children who think they are one way, but in actuality they're not, who want to change themselves from what God created them to be because on the inside they feel a certain way. We have to decide, which way are we going to go? Are we going to believe in traditional biblical values, or are we going to side with the black elite? Unfortunately, too many black people are being led by these black bourgeoisie elites into destruction, into lifestyles that do not allow us to reproduce. From abortion to trans to gay to lesbian, these are lifestyles that will not allow the community to produce future progeny. But yet this is being elevated and promoted by the black elite. You want to know why? Because they benefit from that. Because it keeps them in power. It keeps their influence over the community. And that's why, if you listen to Dr. Umar Johnson, that's the same way that the Democratic Party sees black people. Black people are an afterthought until they need that vote. In the same way, the black elites are pushing this agenda on black people, knowing that it will hurt the community, but benefit them. So we have to make the choice. Which way we're going to choose? Who's on the Lord's side? That's the question.